What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Today we're going to do something fun. We're going to talk about 5 guitars that I think every guitar player should own. Now, maybe not all at the same time. Sometimes we can't all own all of them at the same time, but at least throughout our guitar playing journey, whether that be professional or even just playing at home by ourselves, I think these are 5 guitars that I think all of us should own. Before we do that, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button, the little bell next to it. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up here in the next couple of months that I think you'll really dig, so make sure you don't miss that. The other thing is, sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people for no reason. I don't really know how or why that happens, but if you think you're subscribed, just double check and make sure that you are. And I thank you for that, because we're getting pretty close to 100,000 subscribers, and it's just really cool to know that after 10 years of doing this, that you all have supported us, and I appreciate that very much. Speaking of that, we also want to thank our Patreon supporters and our YouTube members, the folks that have hit the little join button on the Patreon and the YouTube, because you are the ones that keep the channel moving. We make guitar pickups. That's kind of how I make a living, but to keep the YouTube channel going, we appreciate you who watch and use the links and Patreon and all that stuff. So thank you very much. All right, 5 guitars that I think every guitar player should own. Okay, this came up because I got a new guitar this weekend, and I posted it on various social media, Instagram and Facebook, and actually on YouTube too, I think, on the little feed thing. So you might have seen it if you're a subscriber. And immediately people were like, wait a minute, I thought you liked this other guitar. Like, I wasn't allowed to like 2 at the same time, or sometimes I think as guitar players, we kind of pigeonhole ourselves into we can only play a particular kind of guitar, right? Like, I'm a Strat guy, I'm a Telly guy, I'm a Les Paul guy, I'm a humbucker guy, I'm a single coil guy, I'm a 7 1/4 guy, I'm a 9 1/2 guy, I'm a 12-inch guy. You know, any of those. I'm a rosewood guy, I'm a maple guy, or gal. You know, for any of that stuff. It comes with the territory of watching a bunch of YouTube videos, watching reviews, hanging out in forums and Facebook groups and stuff, and you kind of just get pigeonholed into a particular group and you go down a rabbit hole and you never come back out, right? And it's just kind of how it works. And I think sometimes that is at the expense of having the full guitar playing experience. I think if we were to stop for a second and think about the 5 guitars that, well, I'm gonna share with you my list. This is my opinion. If you disagree with that opinion, get in the comment and tell me what your comment section and tell me what your 5 guitars. If you could have 5 guitars, even if you only own 1 right now, okay? 5 guitars that you would own to complete your guitar playing experience. Let me show you my first one. Now you see this and you go, oh wait, that's 2 guitars. No, it's actually just 1. A single pickup guitar. I think every person should own a single pickup guitar at some point in their life. Whether that is, now this isn't obviously a regular Esquire because it's not, but either some sort of single pickup guitar like this, although this one's sort of not normal because, well, you know what? Let's throw this one aside. I love this thing, but it doesn't prove the point. Everyone should own one of these. Some sort of single pickup guitar with 1 volume and 1 tone. The reason I say that is because as you are going through your guitar playing journey, one of the things I think we all should learn is not to just be one of those, I'm going to leave everything on 10 guys. There's a reason why there's a volume and a tone on a guitar, and the dynamics of a pickup and how it works. What the specs mean on a pickup mean nothing unless you understand how they interact with your amp and your pedals and everything else. A single pickup guitar is very interesting when you just plug it in with a cable to the amp with no pedals. So we take like this Princeton and this SG Junior. That's kind of one of my favorite combos of all time. You can get so much out of learning the how and why of how the volume knob works, how the tone knob works, how it all interacts with the amplifier to give you various sounds, and understanding the physics of what a pickup does in this combination. Now you could do that with a normal 2 pickup guitar as well, but if you have a single pickup guitar, it's almost like it focuses you. There's nothing else to distract you. If you just have 1 guitar or 1 pickup plugged into the amp no pedals, no cheating. It shows you everything. It's like it exposes everything, and it helps you to understand these interactions of the components that we worry so much about specs and choosing and all that kind of stuff. But until you really distill it down to this, in my opinion, you don't get the full effect of what all this stuff really does. It's a great learning experience. Number 2 is going to be an acoustic guitar. This doesn't matter. I don't care which one you get, whether it's $200 or it's $4,000. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you get that you can play effectively, it should play well like an electric guitar plays. Not equally physics-wise, but it should just play well. As long as you have that, I think an acoustic guitar is great, because that's one of those kind of like age-old like arguments, right? Like, which one should you get first, an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar? I think you should have both. I think you should have one of each at the same time. Why do I say that? Well, because it inspires you differently. I have 6 acoustic guitars. They're the ones that live in the living room. The electric guitars live here in the studio. The acoustics live in the living room. They're the ones that I pick up and play the most, and they're the ones that get me to play. Everybody gives me a hard time about playing the same thing all the time in videos, although we have other reasons for that. It has nothing to do with what I like to play. But the acoustic guitar gets me out of whatever rut I'm in. It teaches me strumming dynamics. It teaches me finger control. It teaches me a lot of things that an electric guitar does not, especially when you have it plugged in with a bunch of effects and stuff. Again, this is about distilling things down to making us a wider ranged, more rounded guitar player. Then you take what you learn from this and how you feel about it back to the electric guitar, and it will make you better. If you say, well, I don't like acoustic music, I don't like whatever, it's gonna make you probably explore musical tastes a little bit more to understand how the skills of guitar playing apply to various types of music. I got a lot into bluegrass and understood a whole bunch of other kinds of music that I never really cared about that much. But when I see the skill involved in playing that stuff, even country, and old school country, you get and understand the skill and the various rhythms involved, and then you go ahead and take that back to your rock or jazz or whatever you're playing on your electric guitar, and it really helps you to be a well-rounded player. Next, I want to talk about S-style guitars. Now, I say S-style because we obviously know that there's no trademark on this body shape, and you can get it in any flavor you want. Again, from a couple $100 all the way up to however many $1,000 you want to spend on an S-style guitar. So the brand is less important here. It's more about this style of guitar. And you're gonna be like, well, I'm not a single coil guy. People say they're not a single coil guy because, or gal, because maybe, you know, they don't like super clean, single coil, spanky sounds. What about Pearl Jam? You know, what about any number of artists who use these guitars outside of the normal Stratocaster context, right? This is such a wide-ranging instrument. This particular setup, the single, 5-way switch, 3 knobs. Now, a lot of people say, I don't play a Stratocaster because I hit the volume knob. Okay, you're using that as a crutch. Stevie Ray didn't care about the volume knob being there. Robert Cray doesn't care about the volume knob being there. Mike McCready doesn't care about the volume knob being there. Those guys play really hard. And this is what I'm saying. When I hear people in Facebook groups making up excuses about why they don't like guitars, it's because they have something in their head that says, I can't play that guitar because that volume knob gets in my way. Well, somebody else can. They're a human being, you're a human being, you can too. What can you open up in your own mind to understand this instrument and the possibilities that it has? Nothing sounds like one of these. Such a wide-ranging instrument. And in amongst that, this is a 7 1/4 radius. I've got another one with a 9 1/2. And when you get out of your head that you can only play a particular radius fretboard for particular types of music, you will open your mind. Fender style guitars help you with that a lot. Gibson style guitars are mostly in 12-inch radius, where Fender style guitars are available in much more neck radiuses, fretboard radiuses, neck profiles, and fret sizes. Okay, so having a Fender style guitar, Strat especially, or a Telly, we'll get to a Telly in a minute, spoiler alert, that will really help you to get over that crutch of being, I can only play a particular fret size, I can play a particular fretboard radius. All right, so Telly, number 4, get a Telly style guitar. Again, doesn't matter which one, but I would recommend getting the Telly and the bridge, this normal setup, 3-way switch, volume, tone. You can flip them around if you want. If you don't like that, we actually have, if you don't like the neck pickup, we have great neck pickups on our website you can get at Dylan Talks Tone. But again, this is the same thing. This is one of those instruments in a different vein where people will say, I don't play single coil guitars. I think Tellys are too spanky. I don't like the way they feel. Let me tell you something. When I started out on a Strat, we're going to do a video pretty soon about my very first rig that I had when I was a kid. I have that Strat, and I just bought the amp that I had when I was a kid too. We're going to do that video very soon. And the first time I played a Telecaster, I thought, you know, it feels like a plank. I hate this guitar. Now it's probably almost my favorite instrument ever on the planet Earth, because I opened my mind to what is available and to understand the possibilities of the individual instrument and format. I think, again, this is one of those things where folks say, I'm not a Telly person. I can't play X, Y, Z. I don't like the way whatever. Well, is that true? Or is that something that you've been told on the internet? Really think about that. Because each of these guitars that we've talked about today have so much possibility in them. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I am not advocating to go buy a particular instrument. Now, you see the ones that I've got today. These are kind of almost collector's versions. Like I've curated this collection of guitars that I've showed you today. These are things that I really love for me. These are not guitars that I bought for the channel. The ones that I've showed you are my personal choices, my personal guitars. They're not for YouTube. They're not going to be sold, that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you need to get the same stuff I have. This stuff is available in many different price points, in many different versions, everything we've showed you today. But it's really important to think about the different styles of guitar. I know so many people who say, I could only play X or Y, and that just blows my mind. And of course, we have to talk about something like a Les Paul. Now, it doesn't have to be a Les Paul. It could be a SG, could be a 335, could be 2 humbuckers and a Strat, I don't care. Get a double humbucker guitar. Same reason, discovery. It's about discovery. It's about what sounds can you make. It's about what possibilities do you have. You don't have to buy a Les Paul if you don't want to pay for a Gibson, or if you don't like Gibson or whatever. You can buy an Epiphone, you can buy whatever, it doesn't matter. 2 humbucker guitar, get one. Most of my thought process when it comes to the electric guitar side of this, and actually as I've curated my own collection, is the fact that I want to be able to have the possibility of all the sounds. Now, it's a little different for me because I make pickups for a living, right? And I want to be able to have all of these various possibilities available. But what I've learned throughout having this is that I can play any guitar. Does that mean that I'm good at it? No, because I'm actually not good at any of them. But what it does mean is that I've taken out of my brain the concept that I can only play a particular type of neck, I can only play a particular type of frets, I can only play a particular type of fretboard radius or pickups or whatever. Now, you might have grown up with a particular type of music and said, well, yeah, so I'm a Strat guy because I grew up with Stevie Ray Vaughan, or I am a Les Paul person because I was Jimmy Page, or I was whatever, and that's how you ended up, right? And therefore, those other types of instruments are less desirable to you, which is totally fair. I just wish that people would say less, I can't do something, and more think about it. Okay, so maybe I can't play a particular riff on a Les Paul because I'm used to a particular neck. Maybe I'm used to a Fender style neck. It's not about what you can't play on this guitar. It's about what you discover that you can play. If you have the luxury of having more than one guitar, and I know not a lot of people, not everybody does, but if you have the luxury of having more than one guitar, you will find that you will play certain types of things on one and certain types of things on another. That's actually even within types. So like, for example, my acoustic guitars that I have in the living room, I have a couple of different scale lengths out there, and I find that I play them differently, which we haven't even talked about that as being one of the aspects of this. But this guitar is a 24/7/5 scale, and now everything else I've showed you so far I think is 25.5. Having these variations in your collection will really help you to be a wider ranging guitar player. And instead of being the I can't person, instead of being the pigeonholed into one thing person, I think you will find that you will enjoy guitar playing more. You will open up that rabbit hole into more of a, I don't know, like more possibilities. I just think it's really fun to think about. What 5 guitars would you like to own if you don't already? What 5 guitars do you own with this concept in mind? Now you might say, I have 5 Tellys, I have 5 Les Pauls. That's not what we're talking about. What 5 different guitars do you have? Why do you consider them different? How does it get more possibility out of your playing style? Get in the comments and let me know. We're going to talk about this a little bit more on our podcast on Tuesday this week, because I think it's a really valuable thing, and we'll kind of have some back and forth conversation about it, and maybe we'll take some of the comments that we get in this video today and talk about those tomorrow in our podcast. I think it's just something really important and cool to think about, and I want to know your thoughts. Thanks for hanging out. I like talking about guitar stuff. Do me a favor again, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like guitar stuff. That's what we do here almost every day of the week. And support Dylan Talks Tone, buy some pickups, make those 5 different styles of guitars, except for the acoustic, better with cool pickups in something that you might already own. And we will see you tomorrow.